What? Another random surprising? Well, you're probably not that surprised if you're on Patreon. I wanted to make sure to put a video together for Patreon, giving some thoughts, looking at the bigger picture here. And even though we might get this 30-minute move higher, I think it was important to understand what is going on right now. We did display over on Patreon a couple signals with volatility and the DIA. DIA, we're noticing, is below a weekly expected move, had potential to cross up and give that reversal signal, give that a confirmation, and that just didn't happen. So I wanted to make sure to come live at the end of today. I feel like this could be important, and even though my wife hates it, I told her, hey, look, I think this is a crazy week. It's just going to be a crazy week. All right. I'm just going to have no time with everything else I'm working on. I'm just going to have not a lot of time, but she's cool about it. She's doing good. But the thing I was pointing out, and I wanted to point out to you guys in a little bit as more people trickle in, is the greater, the bigger scale. And we are actually going to talk about IWMYP. We are going to talk about it. Sold NVIDIA for a profit. Let's go, Jackson. Now, NVIDIA is interesting at this point. The 30-minute is confirming back up, trying to go positive, suggesting that this is still possibly a good trade. And something with NVIDIA I'm watching is this right here. I really like this right here, but I want to see that 2-hour really confirm in the upward direction. That's going to be important. I'm not saying these things can't run higher. And I don't want people to misconstrue like, hey, am I saying that things have to drop right now? No, but I am just pointing out something with the SPY that I think is very important here. And I wanted to show you guys here on the live stream, okay? I didn't want to leave this till after hours. I think it is something you need to take into consideration. Obviously, we can still make moves higher. But one thing to notice is the 5 days starting to turn downward. Another thing to notice is if we blow this up, and I did this over on Patreon, so hopefully you guys were able to see that. I just like Patreon to be aware of these things a little bit earlier throughout my day. And I really wasn't even thinking about going live, but I just want to show this with the DIA. And I want to show the recent price action. We can literally get all the drawings off of here to do this. So if we look at the DIA, we're going to bring the drawings back in a moment, but if we look at the DIA, we can notice I really just wanted off of this one, but oh well. What we notice is we were moving in tandem with this really, really well, and we see the dip at the same time. Dang it, I can't draw at the same time, so follow my mouse. We see the dip at the same time down to the 20. This is where we made those 30-minute signals that we were looking for, and that's fantastic. This has all played out. So great, great, great. But now we're getting this moment where this could be a liquidity grab to actually head lower. And we notice that as we get up to about this point here, the SPY actually moves flat, while the DIA, aka the Dow Jones, is actually moving downward, okay? Moving downward pretty dramatically, and you're seeing that in IWM as well. So my question to you guys would be, is IWM, and this holds true for the Qs, but is IWM and the DIA actually leading us, telling us, hey, there is weakness here, and the SPY and the Qs are just holding up a little bit better. So something we will look for are those 30-minute divergences, but I would not sleep on the fact that this daily is crossed down, and daily momentum can take you in the downward direction very quickly, right? Very soon. If it wants to kick in, it can kick in. Now, what we also notice from the DIA, as I'm going to switch back over to this and go over to the DIA for a moment, just because I have some moves up there for you. I wanted to click on this because we're breaking a weekly expected move. This is where things can get sketchy. Now, we still have some potential reversal signals in here, but they're starting to go away, and you're noticing this daily is continuing to drop. So we'll also notice another thing. It originally was sitting in what I would call the retest area, right? The breakout area. Somewhere in this box, we should have seen those divergences play out, and they're not at this moment. Now, that doesn't mean we can't catch a bounce at any moment in these areas, but I just want you to see how that has really dropped down. It has come below the 20. And that's important because if we are really following this pretty well, we notice that right at the 20, maybe down to the center of our Bollinger Bands, right? we actually see a SPY back up. So it's very important because the SPY in this area at that time was doing a similar thing. It was dropping down. It passed the 20 and went down to the center of your Bollinger Bands. And I just wanted to display to you very simply how the Dow is crossing through both of those right now. And so maybe the SPY is not going to be able to hold up at its breakout area, but maybe it will search a little bit deeper like DIA and IWM are right now. So and just note, you're at a daily expected move right here. 30-minute move can go higher. I'm talking about the daily scale. I understand a lot can happen in 2-hour and 30-minute charts. None of this even has to play out, especially if 30 minutes do curl up. We can see more upside, but I just want to point out the fact that these things are turning down dramatically. You're breaking through, you're curling down into negative territory with divergence on IWM. I'm sorry, you're heading closer to negative territory. But just notice, I mean, if I did this with IWM as well, I mean, I know IWM's on the left now and the SPY's on the right. Not the best way to do it for you guys, but I just want you to notice that the SPY, overall in IWM, they peaked at the same day, they curled down, they recovered dramatically on the same day. They wicked up on the same day. They started the uptrend on the same day. They continued the uptrend until this point right here, where you notice that the SPY has continued to head in the upward direction while IWM is falling off. So it's just very interesting to me, and we're closing below the 20 here again potentially today. So if that is going to happen, we did that in the past, that's what I'm talking about. But I just want to see if we're actually going to see the SPY end up at lower levels than the 20 when we do get this daily pullback. And the reason that you can do that is because you didn't do it earlier. If you would have done it earlier instead of gapping up, you actually see that corrective move for a second, you can remain healthier and extend this for some time. But because we're doing it now, we might need to dip a little bit lower than the 20, and so that's what I would be looking for a little bit for an opportunity. I still do not believe we have good enough reversal signals for this to be an overall market top, but I'm aware that, hey, the IWM is going like this, DIA is going like this, the Qs are going like this. The SPY going like this, or according to the DIA going sideways, right, compared to it. So what I really want to watch is this 30-minute. If I get another 30-minute curl up, awesome. That's perfectly fine, but I'm going to be really watching for a trap tomorrow. Okay, we're down by a daily expected move. We're seeing that positivity come in just like we expect. We're down by the center line, so if that curls up, we can see positivity. But I wanted to show you something here. I wanted to also show you something here, and I know you guys probably have tons of questions about other stuff, but I wanted to show you this right here. Because if I go and I look at this blip, I see all the divergence, we come down into negative territory, we pop up. The DIA, I see all the negative divergence, we go down into negative territory, we pop up, and then we start the downturn. Now notice that that was able to take you to a new high, so maybe the SPY needs to go to a new high first, and then we experience this kind of more corrective move. This is just straight up controlled downward selling, right? This is very, very interesting because it seems almost controlled. Really, if this was dramatic, like selling in some way, this might be profit taking because it's very controlled. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with this, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention. I think you should have it in your brain for how you're going to position yourself going forward. It does not mean we can't make upward moves. I still say if this 30-minute is going to curl up, what's the most probable thing? Test the high, go make a new one. But what if we make an all-time high and then that fails? What if this is behaving exactly like the DIA and we're finally going into negative territory? We get one more move up, we grab liquidity, and we just see this thing slowly go down over time. That's something I'll be paying attention to. The other signal was volatility. Volatility doing what we talked about this morning. We said, watch out if that makes a little divergence here. Well, there's your 30-minute divergence that has confirmed, has not gone positive yet, getting some wicks in. So there's always opportunities to head higher. The main signal is the 2-hour. The main signal is the 2-hour. Now, I'm gonna talk about this again. Even though we just did it on Patreon, I want it to be available for everyone who shows up to the live show. We're not really going to talk. Because I'm doing the live, I might not be able to do an extensive video tonight. Okay, it's just a matter of time. If I have time to do it, I will. If I don't, then I'm gonna try to put out at least like a little 10-minute video talking about SPY, Qs, and some other signals. Okay, VIX and stuff like that. What I want to notice here is this 2-hour chart, right? I really want to look at this 2-hour chart. And here's the thing, if that turns up, we actually can see a bigger move on this MACD. We can see a bigger move up. And the reason for that, if you really zoom out, is because you'll notice a lot of these times where volatility is starting to pick up and you have all these divergences making that base, all the divergences making that base, you get a pop in volatility that takes you into positive territory. Boom. And then you see this curl down on the 2-hour. And you're in positive territory still, and you curl up into positive territory, and you notice that is a bigger reaction from volatility. Okay, so you're in one of those moments right now where if that 2-hour does pop up, it can be a bigger move in volatility. Now, does this mean that I think volatility is going to go like this? It can. I'm not oblivious. It can. Okay, and I have a 30-minute signal that's suggesting it's going to happen, right? It's saying that is probable. But what I want to pay attention to is if that goes up like this, and then we actually see some kind of reversal signal for that to head down. I still think we have the opportunity for the daily scale, if we really look at volatility, to do the opposite of what the SPY is doing and see it on the SPY and on volatility at the same time, where we get some kind of reaction from volatility, maybe just for 4 days going into the FOMC. People are really going to be paying attention to that. And then we see this get by the center line. We see that curl down into negative territory and create the divergence. And that would be a way for people to get overall more greedy than they are right now. We see a pop in volatility that drops off. Well, maybe sometime in January, we see some reactions down here, which would create some kind of reversal signal for your MACD and RSI at the same time. So those are the things I would really pay attention to with how things are shaping up in the market. And I think that was important to bring to your attention. Now let's get into the market here, because we're down by a daily expected move near the last hour of the day. So when you're looking for moves to head outside of these weekly expected moves, notice we have not curled up that 30-minute, and that's why I'm talking about this very seriously right now, because this could be a liquidity grab to head lower. If anything, you could even say potential for island reversal, right? We gapped up. You didn't really gap up above the price, but you are seeing another gap down. So that is important to pay attention to. When are you more likely to see things close outside of weekly expected moves? Well, at the end of the week, right? At the end of the week, if you're seeing a signal that's crossing down and the purple line's right there and it looks like, hey, that's going to be an extended move down, then you are very likely to close outside of that. You don't have time on your side. So when are you very likely to close outside of a daily expected move? Well, it would be the last hour of the day. So we'll see how this shapes up. We'll see if we get some kind of fake green bar like this that just like says, hey, I might curl up tomorrow, and then it just doesn't. We'll see if that continues the positivity. We're going to be very reactive here. But the signals that I'm seeing right now and comparing that to IWM and the DIA suggests that we could see more downside. Now, when we look at IWM and them, maybe they are able to catch a bid at some point. You're not seeing the best reversal signals, but you are seeing them. You see it flat on the RSI, nothing on the MACD. Very deep. So I don't suspect that will be like the greatest move. DIA as well, you were having all those divergence points. Those are flat now, right? You're flat now. So now you turn this good signal into, now you see, and then you see this too, you've ruined the tapering. So that really ruins the signal, right? So now this could just be some kind of reaction to get back in to retest the 5 and end up going lower, right? Now you want to see very clear signals. Now you have a daily that's getting closer and closer to wanting to go to that center line. So what we're going to be really looking for from the DIA and IWM, if they're going to react first, is do we get some kind of 2-hour bounce? Does that bounce get given up? And then do we create a strong base? That will really help us out in noting how DIA and IWM are going to react. All right, so hopefully everyone understands what I'm saying here. I'm not saying this, I'm pretty much just saying the downward move might be here, and am I going to play, big downward positions? No, I might take a little position for volatility for the time being, but I'm more so paying attention to when that daily is done pulling back, even if it's in a dramatic fashion. Do I see signals for that to head in the upward direction? Why did everything head down again? Well, because you curled down on a 30-minute MACD, suggesting that prices were going to head down again, right? If you want to go micro level, look at a 5-minute even and just say, okay, well, the 5-minute did what? It failed at the attempt to go positive. It curled down in negative territory. Where are you going to head to if that happens? Most likely a daily expected move. No, we haven't covered GME. GME, DJT. First of all, before we get into GME, I just want to talk about DJT. This is worrisome for DJT because you have this. This is worrisome for DJT. This says the 2-hour can curl down into possibly a negative trend. Okay, I guess you didn't really see it at these highs up here, but when you do see this pop up and you're close to negative territory, if that continues the negativity, the daily scale can start to rotate down. Why would the daily scale rotating down be a bad thing? Well, because you have potential here that this is some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 push lower. Okay, you have the potential to go negative here, and that could be a decent sized drop. Now, we'll pay attention to signals in this. We'll see if that even plays out. We know there's a short seller problem and things like that coming into this, but it does suggest to me that downside potential is there. Now, if this has a short seller problem and that's giving a bad signal and that could curl down on the daily, AMC has already curled down on the daily saying, yeah, I'm dead. Do not invest in me, blah, 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 blah. Right, the price action really saying that at this point. This is why we say take these curl downs very seriously and watch 437. We're losing that, but we're heading to a weekly expected move. Very interesting. I wanted to show you guys something, okay? I wanted to show you guys something. Before the big moment, did AMC look good or did it look bad? The day before. Well, before the big moment, AMC looked bad. AMC was turning down, going negative, and then it gapped up and it never came back and it just started going. So that's something I have to take into consideration. I have to consider the fact that before the big event, they might want to fight the stock. And the other thing is the event is it's like impossible to call the exact timing of, right? That's why people say holding the stock, and I respect what they say. I think holding the stock's fine because that's how you know, like, hey, I can just accumulate at good areas if I believe in the problem. Now, does this 2-hour have a good chance to turn up? Well, you want to look, and the 30-minute is getting closer to the center line. Right as you break through 437, I think a lot of people online are still talking about 435. But I just want you to notice you're losing 435. That convinced people to get really bearish, and then you end up just seeing a little 30-minute divergence pop up, and it starts to move in the other direction. Okay, so now is actually a time where you want to pay attention in case that 2-hour is able to bounce. A signal for that would be the 30-minute divergence. Now, when you get to GME, it's different. GME is showing potential for this to go down, but it's showing more potential for it to remain positive, and that's a key thing. I understand that it's turned down, but it is in positive territory. So if this just goes like that, you always have a chance that you could see a good move. The key thing is you're going to need daily momentum. And so if you can get that, say, like tomorrow to produce and curl up on this, then you have everything saying it's a go, right? Daily, 2-hour, and the 30-minute all at the same time. So AMC looks ugly. DJT has a reversal signal, but you got GameStop here that's like, hey, I'm ready kind of to go if I can curl up again after consolidating and building and building and building in this area. Can I cross up? Still holding the 5. So GME is kind of a different story. You think that's a cheeseburger you're eating? There's a 50-cent double cheeseburger? Yo, that is some Bill Gates meat. Another closing stream? I told you. Well, I like to, here's the thing, guys. At the end of the day, you guys can think whatever you want to think about me. You guys can think how I am as a trader. You can think whatever. But at the end of the day, I do care about this community. And so if I do see, I know all last week I was like, hey, if I see some signals, I'll be coming live later today. Well, now's a time where I think it is important to keep this kind of stuff in your head, right? And so that's why I'm live right now. It's because I do love this community, like I do. I put a lot of work into this. You got to think, I started at 0 subscribers. August of 2023, and here we are today. And that's all hats off to you guys for enjoying the information you're seeing as helpful overall. And we know that we're never going to get things right, but it's nice to have someone to bounce stuff off of and get an opinion from. And I think that's great. And if you can learn a little bit here as well, that's awesome. So I'm not someone who wants to leave you guys in the dark. I've said that multiple times. That's why I don't just put out a YouTube video at night like a lot of other people, right? Because anyone can decipher things after everything's not moving and then tell you what happened during the day. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be more helpful than that. And I think during market hours, paying attention to the movements, seeing what happens, you guys can really take away something from those videos. No one likes changing nappies. Actually, that's really funny because she took a nasty one right before I came down here. So I had some extra time and I was like, what am I going to do? So I cleaned up, vacuumed. My Husky German Shepherd sheds like you cannot believe. So cleaned up my area a lot. It looks squeaky clean. I love it when it's clean. It makes me feel good about things. And then I just sat down and I looked at charts and I go, well, what am I doing and what would really help people out right now? And I think that was just displaying how the SPY is not going in tandem with IWM or DIA. And we are also noticing some fishy things. The call side is being hit. The CPC at 0.79 continues to get these low readings for the CPC. Low readings for the time being. Waiting for that snapback reaction. The PCC is low today, down to 0.742. Look at that. While at the same time, look at the dollar. Look at the dollar, still gaining some steam here, all right? It's already bottomed. We caught those signals. Fan-freaking-tastic. I'm glad we mentioned it. Thank you for the double bottom. You know, say thank you to your chart sometimes, okay? Because the dollar's booming. So I thought this was justified enough to come talk to you guys about this so you can understand if things start to move down for a few days, you're going to have a little bit of an inclination of what's going on and why that overall might be happening according to the charts. This is Bernie out at the ranch. Hey, Bernie, how's the ranch going? Is that your wife's account or something? I would not. Actually, I wish I was on Wall Street so I could tell you guys what's up, because then we'd know the insider stuff. What do you think of Tesla in the short term? Well, so here's the thing. Now think very, very simply. If the Qs are not we just touched the top of my channel too. That's kind of crazy, right? And then now we're seeing this interesting stuff. If the Qs are overall moving in tandem with DIA and IWM, and you start to see those separate, it's kind of like which one is lying, right? That's what I like to ask myself when I see that big separation. So is IWM and DIA falling for no reason and we're going to see them participate and this is going to blow off top more than the blow off top of the blow off top of the blow off top right now? Or is it more likely we're hitting top Bollinger again, we just hit the top of the channel, and we're most likely going to go somewhere near the Q's 20s? Well, it's probably more likely we're going, like if I just common sense it, I'm like, yeah, it's probably a little more likely as we're hitting the monthly expected move, as we're hitting the top of the channel, as we're hitting top Bollinger again and not testing the 20, that we're going to get a test of the 20 soon. And that's all I want to see. I know that that can go up in the shorter term, but that just keeps my head level and know that the opportunity might be around the corner and not necessarily right now. The good opportunity for bullishness might be after a few days and not necessarily right now. Right? There could be a very small opportunity, but I more so want a better opportunity. And that's all I'm getting at. Now, with that statement, the reason that I'm bringing up the Qs and talking about that without even looking at Tesla, since you asked about it, what do you think would happen to a stock that is a tech stock if the Qs are going to go down to their 20? Well, you would say, hey, this is a great run from Tesla. If it's going to keep squeezing, it's going to keep squeezing, but I want to be aware of an opportunity, and now I know that the probable common sense thing to happen here would be the Qs are going to go down to their 20. So what would that mean for a lot of tech stocks that are participating in that move? Well, they're most likely going to take a breather in some way, maybe to retest a breakout area, And then they're going to curl back up into positive territory. And that's not to say that this can't dip lower than that. It's to say whenever this MACD curls up into positive territory, I can take a go at Tesla. And Tesla has seen some great positivity. So if we get something that's going to get people really bullish again later on in a week or two, maybe after FOMC, maybe I can just sit here. I can look for a stock, even if Tesla doesn't pull back. Maybe Apple does. Maybe Meta does. Maybe Microsoft does. And then I can say, okay, that looks like a decent one. I also have you subscribed to both of them. That's awesome. Yes, we covered it a bit, Terry, at the beginning, but we'll show it off again towards the end of this video, or if we keep seeing a reaction. If we see volatility curl, yeah, see, it's still moving, and that's the thing. So the most probable thing from that 30-minute divergence is you're going to confirm up this 2-hour chart, and this is why I'm going live right now, right? I want you guys to be aware of these things. Remember this morning, I know maybe it goes in one ear and goes out the other. I get it. It's morning time. We're still waking up and things like that, but now we're in the afternoon. You have no excuse. This is exactly what we mentioned this morning. Watch for volatility to come down and pay attention if there's divergence. We also say that doesn't have to confirm. It gave one fake out, came back off, and then unconfirmed and then confirmed again. A little bit confusing. See the red blip? See the green blip? So you had a moment where it went, yes, no, yes. And now your 2 hours looking like what? It could do something. Why am I telling you to pay attention to it? Because the last time we made this, it was a little bit rough. It was a little bit rough. All right. And you notice the same type of behavior almost every, in like every push from volatility, we almost see a similar behavior. Like if you go back to these areas where we got a bigger pop in volatility, well, what happened right before the big pop? We almost curled down on that MACD and then you went. So in these, you actually did curl down on the MACD and then you went. But I just want you to be aware of it, right? We're still paying attention to the fact that things can curl up. We're at a daily expected move, but you're going into the last hour of the day, and this is where problems can ensue. All right, this is where problems can happen. And the other thing is, if you really just look at the 2 hour, is that rejection? Where's Jack? Jack, where are you at? Jack, where are you at? Yeah, I'll look at some of those for you. Which one do you really want to look at, Brett? Tell me when you really are interested in, and I'll look at one for you. If Jack was in here, he was the one asking about how do you know really what rejection is? Well, rejection looks a lot like this bar right here, where you have the price action, you have some potential rejections, then you just see that actually break with a red bar below the moving averages on the time frame that you're looking at, right? The 9 and the 20 happening to get taken out, but the main ones are the 9 and the 5 for rejections. We're noticing that, hey, this was about to confirm up, we turned down, and now you're getting the bar that looks a little bit uglier. That will complete in 22 minutes. A lot can happen by the end of the day. TRMD. I'll look at that one. TRMD. Let's look at that one. Okay, TORM. Okay, so first of all, this is a dramatically downward stock. All right, so right away, careful with options. That's what it tells me. So right away, I can tell you there's tons of 2 hour divergence. You're going to see tons. It's kind of like the opposite of a squeeze, right? It's a crash. Crash, you can see tons of divergences. Where you really want to pay attention is on the lowest scale here, the daily chart. Do you see okay signals forming? Now you're starting to see those signals forming. You're confirming up for a moment. You're confirming back down. This is why options will be very difficult for a stock like this. All right, you're not going to see good weekly signals here. You see really bad ones. Okay, this is not a good look. You had weekly divergence all above this, so now you go, oh, is the monthly curling down? So the monthly is curling down with divergence, so this can tank. This can keep tanking. When I want you to start paying attention to this one is when you get daily divergence that is really, really close to the center line. Are we really close to the center line? No. And you can look for that monthly curl up. You're still in positive territory. So monthly curls up in positive territory. Hey, solid hold probably for 12 to 24 months. Now this one, because it curled up very tightly here, not the best hold for 12 to 24 months, right? You curled up, you hit a high, blah, blah, blah. So what I would more so be looking for is I'm going to be patient. I'm going to see if that weekly turns up. Maybe I even take a chance with it with an investment and say, hey, what if that weekly is able to turn up that monthly chart and we start to build back? Awesome. But I want you to have a plan. If you see that weekly turn up and then it crosses back down, that's not going to be a good sign, right? So if that curls back down, I want you to say, okay, that investment's going to go wrong if I hold on to it. Let me look out for a higher low or a divergence. And then if the weekly can come down, create that divergence point or a higher low, you can say, okay, now I'm willing to get back in. That signal is known to curl up monthly charts. Very good. I like that one. I don't mind it. I just would hate for someone to look at this and be like, I want to do options. How do you know when it's been invalidated on an inverted cup and handle? Inverted cup and handle on the SPY. What time frame are you looking at, first of all? And there's tons of cup and handles in this, actually. I was looking at that this morning after the stream. I was like, wow, that is a big-ass cup and handle. So very, very cool for you to do that. But you actually have a cup and handle here, and you have a cup and handle right here on the micro scale. Okay, so you have two reversal signals all adding up to this area. So the way that a cup and handle gets invalidated, one, you want to look for if you get something, some kind of move in the cup. So in this, if there's a move that randomly goes across like the 50 line, so like the 50 retracement line. So if we had a move in this that went to that 50 retracement line, which is, well, actually it's just a 50%, so it might be a 6.8. I can't remember for sure, but most of the time I think it's here. So here, if it would go anywhere near that area, this little box in here right below the 50, if it goes in here, it would be invalidated. Did that happen? No. Okay, now that's just my rule of thumb. I'd probably need to double check. I haven't, but you'll hear me say a lot of the time, this could be cup and handle. This might be kind of something that ruins that. I'll say that a lot, but it still could be consolidation even if we had that. The next part to that is if you really take out this high, now this would be a super big handle, but I want to consider it a handle all the time as long as it doesn't take out this level, as long as it doesn't take out that level. Because all of this is a massive handle to grab some good liquidity, most likely. Now we're going to look at this on the smaller scale here. And you guys are more than welcome if you know even more than me about cup and handles. That's perfectly fine. My trading has nothing really to do with cup and handles. That is just something that I take into consideration, right? The 5 minute, I wanted to show this off because you have a ton going on here. One, you have potential for this to be a cup and handle. Two, you have potential for this to be a cup and handle in some way as well, right? You get overall though, you just want to treat it as, is this consolidating for the next move down? And it seems like you have that consolidation for the next move down. You've gotten the next move down for now. You've broken that level. You're trying to see if you can make a move back above it or build liquidity to go down. Now, where would the measured move of this overall take you? It would take you to gap fill. It would take you pretty much down to gap fill, right? If we take it from the lowest point, let's say the closing lowest point, you're going to be at gap fill. So that's how I'd read into it, but you have like a cup and a handle, cup and a handle, cup and a handle. But as far as my strategies go, I'm more paying attention to, hey, did this curl up into positive territory? How deep was it in negative? Oh, that was past 0.5. Okay, that has a higher likelihood to be a lower high. This could be a liquidity grab. But I understand that that was a high enough move past 0.5 that this could bounce back. All right, but the rejection from the 2 hour confirming in 16 minutes, 17 minutes will really say like, hey, this has high potential to go lower. How high or how low can this thing go down? Well, let's take it from that wick right there. Let's use the bottom of this and say, okay, something around 596.13. What do we know about 596.13? That would take you below the 20. Yeah, so they work better on different time frames. Yeah, you'll run into that a ton. That's why people have such, that's why the stock market's so cool. That's why technical analysis is cool. If you can figure out your trading strategy for the time frame that you really like the most, it really unlocks you as a trader. That's what happened with me in 2-hour, 30-minute daily charts. And then and using that around weekly expected moves, right? That's all this channel really is doing, is showing off everything I use to potentially make money, right? Took TPL, made 9K on a put. Let's go. I'm just a vibe. Is it inverted cup and handle on the SPY, and how do you know when it has been validated? So there you go. Validation is breaking the low and not able to buy back up. So this has already been, this 5-minute one technically has been validated, right? This is saying it's gonna happen, right? But you understand this. If someone says that something has been validated, meaning it is there, it is going to happen, I always want you to have that 1% chance it could go wrong. You have a 5-minute divergence here. You see how it could go wrong, okay? But just give yourself that 1%. That will really help you out in taking big losses, okay? Because if you give yourself that chance, then everyone else that says, "Oh, it's been validated," look at Nvidia. Look at Nvidia. Remember how everyone, why do you think I put in quotes, Nvidia's going to crash? Nvidia has a head and shoulders. And then I put, it's going to bounce tomorrow. That's because everyone talks about the head and shoulders here, but they ignore the 1% chance that you're going to bounce before you get that signal. You're going to bounce before you get that confirmation. And that's what I'm saying. Right? You're going to bounce before you get that confirmation. Then I look at the state of the market and I go, ooh, that's not going to, this would be kind of contradictory to what's going to happen. If this 30-minute fails to go positive, this could all just be some sort of flagging in some way to drop again. Now, Nvidia kind of in its own boat here. Nvidia on the daily going negative. Nvidia on the weekly as of tomorrow will be confirming weekly divergence. If this holds at lower levels tomorrow, this will be a confirmation. The last one was a blip. We talked about that. This is a confirmation of weekly divergence. This means something real bad could happen to Nvidia. Like real bad. All right. But will that time up to the same point in the market? Or could we see one of those moments where this goes down, down, and then curls back up for a moment, and then we see something bad? If I look at the daily scale, I'm going, okay, this is still by the center line. I still want to be aware of bullish takes. What if this just catches a bid while everything else falls? Right? We've seen that plenty of times where everything falls except for Nvidia, so the market holds up a little bit better. Everything falls except for Apple, so the market holds up a little bit better, right? Be open to that. Be open to that. Maybe just say, hey, there's less confusing trades out there, right? Now, I'm not someone who really is overexcited to play something to the downside, but I look at Apple and I go, wow, you failed that move. I look at Apple and I go, wow, what's going on here? Is this our base here and we're doing this? Well, if that starts to lose the 5, we can start to talk about it. If that 2-hour starts to confirm down, isn't that a reversal signal? Like if we really just think plainly, isn't that a reversal signal that we look for all the time? Isn't this what Nvidia did when it was outside of its monthly expected move? Isn't this the signal we used countless times on Nvidia over the last 5 months? And isn't this the signal that played out 100% of the time for Nvidia when it was outside of a monthly expected move? 5 for 5. I think it was 4 for 4 actually. 4 for 4. That's probably not a good signal. That confirmed yesterday. You saw a blip up. The 30-minute rotated back down, though. It never confirmed the next move higher. Very cool. Very cool stuff. Thanks, Jack. Jack, I shouted you out. Did you hear my shout out? Did you hear my shout out, Jack Katz? God dang it, Jack Katz. You gotta show up, man. I shouted you out today. Dramatic downward move. 2-hour divergence at the top. Rejection divergence. Unfortunate. But I don't like rejection divergence. You guys probably know that. But the rejection on this one. So how you know that this is rejecting the next move higher is 1, the failure to complete the upside move. That's first. Next, you're looking at price action. And you're going, okay, is this rejecting? Is this rejecting? Is this rejecting? Notice this. The bar that closes below the 9 and the 5. That's the confirmation of rejection. Boom. Now, weirdly enough for this stock, you're going into potential support, actually. You're going into a potential box of support. You are very far away from the 5. You actually might see a reaction sideways, maybe a little bit up to catch that 5 up, and then see this continue to the downside. There are no reversal signals here suggesting that the 2-hour has to bounce. Or I'm sorry, there's no signals here on the 2-hour suggesting the daily has to bounce. YouTube has been quite the journey. It's been a lot of fun, but it is a lot of time consumption, especially when you're, moving. I started it when I was in Georgia. I had to move back to Kansas to be around family. I had to get my mother-in-law and sister-in-law moved. And then I had the YouTube channel. Then I had to figure out, oh crap, I can't rent something because of, my dogs are not allowed to be anywhere. And then I get into a place, and then we have baby girl, and then now I'm a first-time dad, and I have all that stuff. So you can imagine, the stress I was under for a long period of time. Now I got a little handle on it, so I'm happy about it. I got a little handle on it. I like it. Yeah, so just not a good look for a stock. It doesn't mean that this is like dead by any means, right? But this is just really bad, and this is the 20-year Treasury bull, right? So obviously that's coming off lately. TPL has a cup and handle. Looks like it will go back up. And then we're gonna go watch the market, okay? Cup and handle. Okay, so that must be a very tiny cup and handle. 30-minute, I don't like this. I mean, I see that it's there. I'd like one in the near price action. You're still far away from the 5, so I'm thinking a higher low or a divergence will set up for you here on the 30-minute before you can really get this 2-hour to pop. Notice the 2-hour is not holding the divergence, so that's something you can always look for. If you have an extended 30-minute divergence and you pop up a 2-hour, and since those are the time frames I like to use, this is just something I've done before, and you're not seeing the divergence on the 2-hour, then it's probably not there. But you can take it into consideration. Notice that the next big drop came once we got closer to the 5. Boom. So really, I would like to see us get closer to the center line in some way, right? Get that cross up a little bit closer. So I don't know. I don't think the selling is fully done here. I think you could catch a bounce at any time, but I think it's more likely to be consolidative. The area I would more so pay attention. Hold on, let me look daily. Oh, we're by the center line. That's good. So this is an area to pay attention, I guess. But you'd like better reversal signals. Area to pay attention, probably, if we're going to go deeper than this, right there, 1100. See, 1100, you can really see this 2-hour, right? You see how deep it is? And you go, okay, 1100. All right, well, if we get some kind of consolidative move like this, and then we drop down one more time, or maybe you get a good reaction that fails, then around that area is where I'd be looking for those reversal signals. The other scenario to this, by the way, is if you get no reversal signals, this is why it unlocks you 10K subs in 2024. Hey, like the video, maybe we'll get there. Make sure you subscribe if you think this channel is a lot of fun. But yeah, maybe we'll get there by Christmas. We'll see. We'll see. The other scenario to this is if it just starts to V-shape, you want confirmation that that's a good thing. Well, you're going to look for swing trade signals because you're still positive in positive territory. 200's way below you. You haven't lost 11, I would say 1100. You haven't lost it, right? So anytime that this goes like that, if you don't want to pay attention to all that crud down there and you don't mind a little bit worse position, or you just like to kind of swing trade with, your account, not trying to leverage anything, hey, that's perfectly fine. You can see this cross up into positive territory right here, and that would be a go. I would really focus on your confirmations for moves higher here. And the first ones I would pay attention to are, with swing trading, are RSI and the price action getting above the 9 and the 5-day. That will help you out a lot. The MACD, especially when swing trading on the daily, will lag behind a little bit there. So you're looking for confirmation above the 9 and the RSI getting above its center line. Hey, thanks, Brett. Appreciate that. TPL, not a terrible look though. We're just talking about that more dramatic pullback that you can get, and there it is. There's the more dramatic pullback. I mean, it's a great move. And this would be just, the reason I have 1109 marked off is because that is a breakout area. You can see where you kind of saw the last bundle of price action before you really broke through. You held it as resistance once, so, and then you gapped above that. So that's probably an important area right there. I would love for the stock to get down there with divergence, especially if you're paying attention to it. Right? Merca! See, Tesla, there we go. So if we just think critically about this and we just look at the Qs and we compare it to what's going on with DIA and IWM, it's just more safe, right? It's less risky to just wait to see what happens, even if this wants to do this for a little bit more time. Let that thing come down eventually and then take the opportunity when it truly is a less risky one. Yeah, Jack Cats, I shouted you out at the beginning of the video because we were talking about rejections, and I said, do you want to see a very obvious rejection? And do you want to talk about it? I'll talk about it again with you real quick, Jack Cats, if you'd like. Make sure you're hitting that live button so you're on time here, meaning not backwards. But yeah, this is your rejection bar. Right now, you're experiencing the rejection bar. We'll see if that can turn back around, but you got 4 minutes left in that. We'll see. This is a rejection bar technically, because these, yeah, they show deeper red, so you want to start paying attention. But notice these wicks, that's not necessarily rejection just yet. Rejection to me, right, I kind of, pretty much I've dealt with rejection so much that I've formulated what I consider rejection. Because some people would just see this blip here and say it rejected. I would say, yes, that is a sign it is rejecting. This is the rejection bar, meaning this is saying, hey, I am more likely to head in the downward direction, right? I'm really maybe starting that downtrend on shorter time frames because you have lost the 9 on the time frame you're looking at and you have lost the 5. You make things so much clearer, yeah. And something to make things clearer if you're ever confused, guys, and one thing is, if things aren't clear to you and you're confused, should you be risking money? Like, really think about that. Like, should you be risking money? If I'm sitting here and I'm confused, I don't know which way, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know which way this could go. Oh God, let me just, I don't know. Well, what if I just go, okay, well, let me wait till things are more clear, right? Let me look at the daily. Let me see if that pulls back. Let me see if I get an opportunity like this that creates little divergences, and then we'll see if we can head in the upward direction. Because I still don't think this is a top. I really don't. I think you have one more push left in you for Christmas. But hey, if it starts to curl down weekly charts, we might have some fireworks for Christmas. No, not a Roaring Kitty reference, but my bad. Yeah, if you're ever confused taking a trade, do not, I won't tell you what to do, but I will say this. If I were confused, if I was buying a laptop, and I was at Best Buy and they're showing me all these products and I'm just super confused, am I going to spend $1,000? Am I going to spend $4,000 on a really nice laptop that I have no idea what the guy just said to me? If I have no idea what RAM is and gigs and all this kind of stuff, and they're saying all this info and I'm super confused, am I gonna potentially just like throw money at that? Oh, hey, maybe if I'm like maybe if I'm Elon Musk and I got a bunch of money in my pocket, maybe. But you'll notice that the people with a bunch of money tend to not risk their money. Right? They'll risk it in something they believe in. They'll risk it in something they're not confused about. Right? Things that are related to the stock market can relate to real life. We talk about that plenty on this channel. I know all about rejection. Oh, that's good. Last favorite is TBLA. Is it correcting or retreating? Well, an easy way to see if something is potentially correcting or if it is going to reverse down is the state of the daily chart. The first thing I want to really look for if I'm saying, okay, is this thing really going to crash down or is it potentially just experiencing a correction? Well, initially, what do we want to see? Where is the daily chart? Where is that daily MACD? How high up is it? How low is it? Blah, blah, blah. This is really high up. So how much work, how much selling would really have to come in to really tank the stock? A freaking lot. And that can happen. That can happen. It's not improbable, right? It's not impossible for this to happen, right? So you want to pay attention to the fact that, oh, this daily crossed. If this daily crossed, would I immediately be like, oh yeah, that's going to head up? No, I'd be like, hey, I want to pay attention in case it goes lower. So you can see a correction here that might even take you below the 200. But the thing is, there's no big reversal signals here. There's no reversal signal here for your RSI. So the likelihood that this continues is higher than it crashing through the floor. That's one. I can do that all from just understanding the MACD very, very well. This is why we go over the MACD in a full 20-minute video in the course down there in the description, right? This is why we do it. Don't worry, guys, I'm not shilling for the course or anything like that. I want you guys to get a Christmas deal and learn during that Christmas period where things are a little bit, you might have more time. So we're going to do a deal for you. New year, new me deal. But I just want to notice that the more likely thing is this continues the positive trend. Why? Because it is so far away from the center line. All right. Here, you're a little bit closer, right? You're a little bit closer. So we want to pay attention to that. That's a little bit closer, but now you're further away. And that one was able to really continue. Yeah, it dipped down to low prices, but it continued. Probably made a 2-hour divergence right here. So what we want to pay attention to is this area right here. We want to pay attention anytime that's able to curl back up. Most likely this is going to be a corrective move, and this is not going to fall through the floor. It does not mean that it is impossible for it to fall through the floor. That's what I would say about this guy. Then you want to look at the bigger time. I mean, look at the weekly. That thing's trying to go positive. Now, here's where you start to get scared. And this could just go retest a breakout area, really. You could retest 368. You could retest a little deeper. It seemed like this level 350 was pretty important. I think 350 looks pretty good. If the weekly starts to roll, that's a problem. But what do I see down here? Well, I see a sneaky move. I see a sneaky divergence right here. Very sneaky, but weekly divergence. So you could just be in a daily pullback after confirming some weekly divergence, and that finally went positive, and then you see a daily pullback and you go, crap, that's going the other way. But here's the thing. That weekly divergence might end up turning this thing up on the monthly scale. Now, there's not a lot of data behind this, so you got to take that into consideration when trading a stock. I like stocks that have plenty of data. But now I have a plan. So now I have a plan and I go, okay, this right here is my plan. Here's the top of where that breakout area could be. But I want to go a little bit deeper because I see this gap. So I say anywhere in there, if I see 2-hour divergences in a daily that is close to the center line, not super negative, right? A daily that's close to the center line with some 2-hour divergences that can reverse that back around, you might create that strong base and end up just curling back up into positive territory. If none of that shows up, this thing can tank, right? Just take that into consideration. Always be managing risk, even in your thought of taking a trade. Wait for confirmations. The position will be just fine if you wait for confirmations. Yeah, Brett, it looks more like a bigger pullback is what you would consider, not even necessarily a correction, more of just a retest of the breakout area, I would say. Write it down, Brett, and hit me up, like come ask about it again late next week, and we'll look at it. You think SPY completes the downturn at 603? And that could be potential, right? We still see a 30-minute that's really close to the center line. We have to understand this market can remain irrational. I'm more talking about real opportunities that could be longer-term plays. I would say medium-term, because I like my little 2-week and month plays. Yeah, Brett, I'm down to take a look at it again in like a week. You're just going to need some days and some price action. Everything becomes more clear with some price action, right? If I'm confused, I can just be like, all right, let me chill for a bit, see if that price action adds up to anything, and then we'll see. Just so you know, you did confirm the rejection right here. You did post that bar. Qs, did you confirm a rejection there? Yes, you did. Actually, sorry, no rejection here. That's just divergence. Divergence confirmed on the Qs. That means that the Qs as of now, from this point forward, have a high likelihood to see a daily pullback in some way. It does not mean that this has to be some kind of massive crash. It can be. I'm not ignorant to the fact that stocks can move down quickly. We do not have those signals right now, so I think that is lower probability. So what I'm overall looking for is if we have one more move higher, then this 30 minutes going to cross up into positive territory. And then I'm really going to watch out. Now, why am I really going to watch out? Because last week, actually over the weekend, right, we said we're looking for this, right? Friday, we're looking for this here now. Actually, I think we said this after the Tuesday low. So we said the NVIDIA Tuesday move is what we were looking into. And then I said, okay, now I'm looking for this right here. Looking for this here, if that wants to happen. The only problem is the 2 hour just confirmed. So that could be a problem still if that happens. The 2 hour might not confirm the next move up. So, oh, Coles. Yeah, I'll look at Coles. Thanks for putting the ticker. Appreciate that. Yeah, guys, try to put tickers if you can. I look at thousands of stocks probably a week. 2 hour divergence for Coles. Still, this is something that's very speculative. So options trading in this, very difficult. Okay, anything that looks like this, you know, something that's been going down, 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 is going to be difficult. All right. So first of all, we have 2 hour divergence. That could mean the daily is going to curl up. But I first want to look at the daily. Look how deep that is. So do I think this is like an absolutely strong floor? Well, I see that we had some price action way down here at some point, so I could start thinking about maybe investing at these levels. Do I see investment signals? Well, let me look at a weekly chart. Do I see weekly chart investment signals? No, not necessarily. Now, you got weekly investment signals potentially confirmed here, and you saw some upside. That kind of failed the breakout. We can see the very obvious resistance here. So later on, that level is going to be important. Let me remind myself about that later. But for now, I don't see reversal signals like I did here to get this to go up in price. So maybe this has a lot of time before it's actually going to catch some ground. Now, I don't know if Kohl's has a short seller problem. I don't know anything about that. If it does, and you believe that that problem is going to come to light, okay, awesome. I would be very cautious with options for Kohl's is all I'm saying. I don't see good reversal signals here for the weekly. I don't, you know, you can get a daily pop with that 2 hour divergence, but I would rather start to see signals close to the center line, okay? This one was the higher potential move and it failed, right? Higher potential move, look at that price action and failed. And then we fail. So you need to get all the way up here and that can take a lot of time. Mara's a crazy one, to be honest. Mara's a difficult one. But for Mara, how can I read into this now? And remember what we were saying about Mara, a week ago, 2 weeks ago? I don't remember. But this signal started to pop up. Boom, we mentioned it. Oh, Mara made the next move higher. And we were like, watch out, this can go against you. But if that creates another point, watch out. And then boom, we curl down again. We try to move up from our buy zone. We almost end up just flagging out. We head lower, we're flagging out again. So the 2 hours not giving you reversal signals in this zone, meaning the daily could have a lot more work. I marked off 1873. I think that's a good level for now. We'll see if this can pull back. We don't see 2 hour signals, so we're not going to talk too much about bouncing. Obviously, this is a buy zone. It can bounce from there. But the ultimate signal here, if it sees a random move, swing trade, if it makes a 2 hour divergence, say thank you for knowing more technical analysis, right? Once you get in-depth knowledge, you can get into things a little bit earlier. And then you have to understand that getting in earlier can mean risk in some way. The more knowledge you have, the more risk you have technically, because the least risky thing to do is look at the SPY on a monthly chart and then buy it when it curls up into positive territory. Awesome, Jackson. I think you would like it. It just gives you a little bit more control of the trade, right? People see things dropping really fast. They ignore 30-minute divergences. You have a nice purple line on your chart. I wonder if you guys actually use the same color coding as me too. But yeah, weekly stuff, very, very useful. We talked about that with NVIDIA multiple times today, right? NVIDIA, do you know exactly where these wicks are? Those are all off of the weekly expected move right here, within like 2 cents, all of it, both wicks. The reason we were saying, hey, this is not going to play out just yet is because NVIDIA is going to bounce tomorrow, because we have 30-minute divergence and everyone's saying NVIDIA's going to crash with the head and shoulders. Hey, we can still turn down. We're still 30-minute not positive, right? See how we're failing to go positive? That's not a good sign. The 5's catching up to us again. What was the problem last time? We can still run into problems. Apple's still not running into too many problems, getting rejection, but only with the 9 on the 30. I'd like to see this 2-hour get below the 5-day moving average for Apple. I want to check on volatility. Sorry, guys, I looked at charts a lot just now. I want to just make sure. Okay, see, the 2-hour isn't confirming yet. So we always want to be open to the 30-minute being able to make the move higher even with the rejection, right? I'm going to give myself that 1% to say, hey, what if this sets another trap for options expiration? Yeah, Tesla is pretty simple if we just look at it from a, hey, the 30 minutes pulling back. We actually did have some divergence up here, kind of wonky though on the RSI. So what we want to more pay attention to is, hey, it's still above the 5. It's still squeezing. I am not going to short Tesla probably ever in this move. I just will not short it. It is moving like crazy to the upside, and right when you think, oh, it's actually going to crash down, it takes back the 5. Oh, it's going to crash down, takes back the 5. Oh, 5. Oh, no. And then now where are you reacting? Well, you're going to the 5. Now, it will add up to more if this 2-hour can confirm down, but is the 2-hour in danger of seeing a crash or just some kind of corrective 2-hour move? Well, the 2-hour could just curl up into positive territory, right? So I'm not going to overly trade this. If Tesla can give me an opportunity, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the daily to get by that center line. I'm looking for the daily to curl down and curl up. That's it. Yo, I'm freaking down, Reese. Let's go. I have some time off during Christmas week. Definitely want to learn more. I'm confused a little bit. Okay. Yeah, so we'll get that to you. I'm gonna post that on Christmas Day. I'm gonna make a nice. I just wanted to say thank you guys for being a part of my community. So me and the family might just say, you know, thank you for being a part of our community, and you guys contributing to the chat every single day, contributing on Patreon, giving me your opinions. They do help. But yeah, I think that's a good timing to do it, because you will see more people have free time around then. It's a great time to learn when you have free time. While everyone's playing their new video games and doing this, hey, you know, start to fall in love with learning. That's me. I'm a freaking nerd. Debesh, I see you've posted this a couple times, so I'll take a look for you. 13 EMA? I don't use a 13. I'm guessing, is that DraftKings? Wait, what's DN? Whoa, DNKG. I don't really see much for that, so we'll look at Oracle for you. Oracle, relatively interesting, but relatively simple. If you think about how daily divergences play out, well, daily divergence plays out like this, and now you want to see, is that going negative? We did not confirm the move higher. You got another point of 2-hour divergence for the trap. So this is what we're paying attention to in case this happens in the market right now, by the way, just on a 30-minute in the market. So you'll notice this a lot of the time, where you'll see a clear divergence. You'll get that to be like, yeah, that's bad. And then you'll see this random move up. This random move up to say, oh yeah, we're breaking out, get bullish, and then it just gives it away. Okay, you'll see that a ton. All right, guys, that's the manipulation of the market happening right there. Now, they could just do that by buying the stock a ton, convincing you that it's bullish, and then once retail buys it, they're out. But this is why we have the management of the trade section. Management of the trade section. So in this area, we do notice a 30-minute divergence. So do you think you should hold on to that? Probably not, because that's probably going to make a 2-hour move higher. But we did confirm that divergence again. on a big gap down. So that's unfortunate. Yeah, on a big gap down, it looks like. That's unfortunate. So for this one, the most likely thing is we'll see if this can make reversal signals in some way. Right now, you're trying to make a little 30-minute divergence. Now, does that mean I should play this? Well, the trend is saying I'm going down. So that could all just be a little mini head and shoulders, right? But also, if I look at this 2 hour, I go, hey, that's pretty deep. So even if we do get a reaction up for some time, that could fail. So I'd rather see 2 hour divergence first before this makes a move up. Now, if you're going to see, and you can, here's the thing, guys. Once again, I just want to say this a few times, and I've said it a lot this week. You can, as long as you are paying attention, as long as you are not getting overly eager in the direction that your trade is going, as long as you are doing that, you can be open to how you can get screwed. If I wanted to, I could see this 2 hour curl up, I could see it take back the 5, and I could say, okay, I'm going to play a 2 hour swing trade. And as long as I know how to manage my trade, if that starts to go wrong, I have the accountability to say, I'm going to take profit here, I'm going to take a loss here. Because I know that that is most likely to go down. And then if it turns back around, I can get back in. That's fine. Because there is still a way that this gets bullish, right? If this sees a strong move, we have a very obvious level right here. And if you see a strong move like this, you got yourself a head and shoulders. See how we can just like look at the structure and be like, okay, something bullish can form. But the other side of that is you just confirm daily divergence. So this weekly could be in a weekly pullback. So do I want to try to take a little 2 hour swing trade hoping that that goes up? Or would I rather wait for the opportunity that happened in the past that ended up being a good one? Right? From this area, we were by the center line and we crossed up. You went through a daily pullback and you confirmed up again. Well, if I would have just held that position, right, I would manage trade and then get back in personally. But if I just held that trade, well, there's 10% in 49 days. 10% in less than 2 months is fan-fucking-tastic, by the way. Just so you know, over time, if you make 10% every 2 months, you'll probably be a millionaire if you can consistently do that for like 4 years in a row. Yeah. Oh, it is DraftKings. Okay, cool. So I would just be aware if this weekly crosses down, because you're already getting that confirmation with the price action. You're just the lagging indicator. It's a little bit behind. This is a little bit behind that center line, but the price action is telling you down. So something I would watch out for is a little head and shoulders in here. But more so, I already have a zone for this, which is great. So I want to see if that zone can pop up down into here. I think that would be a fantastic place for this to make a turnaround. It can take a lot of time to do that. You can see reaction up, reaction down, reaction up, reaction down, reaction up, reaction down, and then that starts to go. And this might just be by that center line. Hey, thank you so much, Mr. Win. Really appreciate it. 199. First, or wait, first? No, wait, they're fifth. Wow, fifth. I have to hold out a whole hand for that. Thank you so much, Mr. Win, for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's a lot more clear with larger time frame. Exactly, and that's something I've really been pushing lately. If you're struggling with the short time frames, look on the bigger scale. You don't have to do options. Like I said, if you have, I can probably do a quick calculation, by the way, for 10% a month, right? I can do a pretty quick thing for that. If you have the gall to just be like, I can be patient and I can wait for daily signals, I can wait for this weekly to cross and say, okay, we're going to turn down here, so I should sell my stocks. And then that goes all the way down to here, and then you see it turn back up on a monthly scale and you go, okay, this is where I buy stocks. Like, that is a really easy way to consistently make money. And if you know how to manage risk, well, you just do that on like a daily time frame at first, and then as you go positive, you just go, okay, if I don't have divergence, I don't need to be scared of anything. That's what I'm saying right now. I don't have divergence here, so it is likely we're going to make a new all-time high in 2025. Yeah, Mr. Win. Yeah, perfect. I want to say your name, but I don't want to say it wrong. I want to say Hugh or Hui, but I don't know. I've never seen H-U-Y before. But anyway, for the SPY, the main thing I want you to take away from the SPY, Mr. Win, is I want you to pay attention to this. Look at this. We? Okay, we. So pay attention to this, and then look over at the other indices. Ew. Ew. You have seen a period of time here where IWM and DIA are doing something drastically different than the SPY and the Qs so far. And they were moving in tandem until these points right here. Now you're in a time where the SPY is going higher while the SPY and the Qs are going higher, or SPY going flat across, while DIA and IWM are tipping down. And then at the same time, you're seeing volatility cross up on the daily and potentially, right, still hasn't happened yet, but potentially curling up a 2-hour. You have a 30-minute signal in here. We showed it off earlier, so just the chat can back me up. You can trust me on that. The 30-minute did confirm. If the 30-minute unconfirms, we should expect upside, right? So for now, you're getting rejection. This is the rejection bar right here. We just discussed that as well. You have to go back to do that, but the rejection bar is this one right here. Not this one, not this one, this one. All right, that's the rejection bar. That says we are very likely to go fill this gap. We're actually very likely to turn down into negative territory. We are very close there. And the DIA and IWM are dropping past their 20-day EMA. So if IWM and DIA are turning past their 20-day EMA, and they've been moving pretty much in tandem with the SPY for a long time, and that just started to separate, where do you think SPY and the Qs are most likely to catch up to? Since they're in drastic need, as you're hitting top Bollinger again, from this move, top Bollinger, okay, where could we go? The 20. IWM and DIA just lost the 20. So I should probably see us go deeper than the 20. Now, if I see a 2-hour divergence here, I'm going to be talking about it. I want to pay attention to any bullish signal. I do not see major crash signals on the daily. I see them on the weekly. So if they start to prove on the weekly, we'll take it into consideration, all right? But right now, we got to pay attention to the daily. It's a little closer time frame. And I think they're still going to give us that Christmas rally. I just think they're going to give you a scare to think it's not going to happen. And then we get very important news next week with FOMC. What do we notice after every FOMC? Oh, sometimes you experience a drop, but does that drop ever last? No. So I'm ready for this market to go higher, and I'm going to sit here and wait for the opportunity. I'm not going to try to short everything into oblivion, right? Because I know this. The SPY can remain very irrational. The SPY can curl up on this 30-minute. It can curl up. It can take out a high, give that one push higher, and then end up rug pulling everyone. So yeah, IWM, small caps, the Russell. Yeah, we can look at DraftKings in a second. Damn, I see, like, here's the thing, guys. I was supposed to go to the gym right now. This is my only time to go to the gym today. But I'm here instead. Hey, my oil play is working out. That's pretty nice. Nice little 35% so far on that bad boy. Like it. What was it? D King, right? DraftKings. 2-hour. Yeah. So the main thing I want to point out is the bad signal. Okay? Because I want you to be aware of this. That's the bad signal. And it actually touched the points almost like perfectly. So it's great. But you can see that the 2-hour cross down, actually on this really bad bar here, one more blip up, but we end up coming down. So this is going to curl over daily charts. Daily chart, what is it? Little divergence here, so you got to be a little bit aware that can go negative, but it is still far away from the center line. So if that curls up, that would be a good sign. You did take back the 200. That's great. So maybe you're just reaching for another test of the 200. But do we see any reversal signals now? No. We have potential to bounce pretty much at any time, but I'd really like this to drop lower. I'd like this to get oversold. So pretty much swing trade on the daily is what you're looking for from DraftKings. If the 2-hour bounces, it's still relatively negative, okay? So be aware of a lower high. And then see if a divergence pops up right here. If this turns into a strong base, okay, awesome. If it's swing trade, if it keeps being positive and doesn't set up a strong base and just V-shapes, awesome. Daily swing trade. 4-hour swing trade, probably. But for now, I would really like to see this drop actually lower, get some kind of bounce back down, and give me that strong base with a higher low or a divergence in some way. I'm not convinced the selling is totally over here. Now, let's see if that 2-hour can bounce. Yeah, see, the 2-hour can bounce now, actually. A little flaggy, though. So this 30-minute is suggesting the 2 hour is going to get a bounce. Okay, it is suggesting that. Is it positive yet? No, it still has a lot of work to do. Okay, it's a little far away from the center line. It's not like this. That was close to the center line, and when that 2 hour curled up, hey, good things, right? Yeah, some blips in there, but overall held the 5. So you are seeing that now. It's just farther away from the center line. You are a little bit flaggy. So if you were taking a 30-minute divergence play here, I would watch out for the 5. I would watch out for the first breakdown area. And it looks like you're tagging that a little bit right now. So I'm just saying, not the best look in the world. Not something that would convince me to put money behind it personally. But maybe, once again, 3 days passes and we could see some good price action. So a 2 hour, it depends on how efficient I'm trying to be, Debesh, but if you're not trying to confuse yourself, if you're not in depth to it like I am, because what I do, if I okay, here's what I did. I'll tell you guys what I did. Actually, we got to pay attention to the cues, but I'll tell you guys what I did. Debesh, remind me in a couple minutes here. All right, let's watch this for 6 minutes on the cues. And actually, the SPY is more below that move, so let's see if that rejection and us paying attention to the Dow and IWM is going to help us. Okay, yeah, Debesh, just mention it in like 5 minutes, okay? The Backham rate must be what's hurting IWM. Yeah, IWM will react to those rates. Sometimes, actually. We've seen times recently where rates have gone nuts and IWM headed up. Right, rates have been going up for a while too. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think IWM's been going down for about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're about to hit the, you know, a sequence guy would say a 9 sequence might be here, and you might get a bounce on that 9. I don't like that too much. I want to see, that's not why I don't mention that very often, but I used to use sequences, and then when we would do a 9-day move, like 9 days in a row or something like that, then I would go, okay, am I seeing reversal signals? All right, who voted that we would end outside of the weekly expected move? Be honest. We'll pray for you, Brett. We'll pray for that one. Yeah, Jeremiah, we can pop on here for a little bit. If you guys want me to stay live for a little bit after the stream, I might not be able to make a YouTube video though. So take your $10 and $20 profits. I mean, there was a little trade here. There was a little trade. If you saw this as a liquidity grab, and then you woke up the next day and you see this, and you see a little 5-minute build up, and then you look at a 5-minute in here, you can really see how you're like, okay, what's going on here? All right, let me draw my line in the sand here. Let's see these points, and then you make that upward move. You go, if that move fails, I'm taking this down to the daily expected move. I don't know why that was hard to say for me. The daily expected move, and then I go, okay, cool, that's where I take profit. So, I mean, there was a day trade to be had here. I just don't day trade. Because I'm accountable, right? I'm honest with myself, and that's hard to do. I put my ego aside. I day trade from time to time. Like, I've taken day trades before, but I know that I am better at something else, so why am I going to trade one of my weaknesses, if you will? Being honest with yourself as a trader, realizing, hey, I'm not good at finding the 30-minute signals. Maybe I need to open it up to a daily. Maybe I just need to invest on a monthly, is okay. Nobody is going to make fun of you for it. And if they do make fun of you for it, you can watch them trade those short time frames, have a 95% chance to lose every single day trading, and then you can say, hey, yeah, I just invest on the monthly. I'm still looking good. Oh, cost. Oh, we got to look at cost after hours. Oh, we got to look at cost after hours. I think I got to make a YouTube video. So I'm going to try not to stay live for too long, guys, okay? Go gym if you need. No, I want to be here for you guys for now. My gym is literally a mile away. And I can help with bath time and then go to the gym while she's putting baby down. So don't worry about me. See, you're seeing 5-minute divergence on the RSI, so this still could see a 30-minute move higher. Isn't that crazy? But you are closing. Oh, you got 1 minute left. Can we get back in that expected? Oh, the Qs? The Qs are in it, so I guess we're both right. I should have said, is the SPY going to end in its daily expected move? And oil, looking good on oil. My oil play is working out. It's looking good. Wonder what that did. It's down too, and that's crazy. I saw a spike down, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be fooled. Red hammer candle, that would be a little bit wild. Well, we know the SPY's out here. Let's look real quick. 13, 12, 11, 10. No, it's probably gonna still above the 5, which is just crazy. Oh, look at that sneaky sell at the end of the day. SPY in and outside of the daily expected move. That's what I voted for, okay? I voted for the SPY to end outside of a... I was thinking of the SPY when I made that question, but... all right. Oh, that is not good. You're closing at the end of the day at the very low for both the Qs and the SPY. SPY looks worse as far as the size of the bar. But this might be the early inclinations that, hey, we're actually going to get some kind of daily pullback here. Maybe it's an inclination of something worse. Now, you guys had a few you wanted me to look at. Debesh, let me look at something for you, or at least answer that question. Long-term play, do you check for daily divergence to enter a trade? Or is it with a 2-hour? Yeah, okay, so when you've been doing it as long as I have with my strategy, once you got a year or two under your belt, guys, that's you know, potentially what you would need to really understand what's going on thoroughly on every time frame, in my opinion. Once you do that, you can really start to add up to things. And this is what I wanted to show you, Debesh. So hopefully you are here right now. And then we're gonna go look at some other stuff for just a brief moment, and then I gotta get working on a YouTube video. So down in these areas where we saw some major drops, right? So I'm just gonna tell you right now, there's a weekly divergence here. So if I wanted to be a decent investor, I could just learn about weekly divergences, and when they pop up, I could invest, and then I could see if the monthly curls up, and I can feel good. Oh yeah, there's always a chance. There's always a chance. We're gonna get you guys those daily expected moves and all the daily expected moves over on Patreon. So it's a good time to join. Thursdays are a great day to join. You really get a ton of value if you just join on a Thursday. You probably get $100 worth of value right there. And we can look at Palantir NF in a little bit, but maybe I'll have to look at that tomorrow morning. I don't know if I'll have time. So there's a weekly divergence down here. So if I was planning on taking a play in some way, I would, as far as the investment side goes, I'd look for weekly divergence. If I don't see weekly divergence and I just see a monthly curl up, awesome, I can take it. But I want you to notice that at this low, we made a double bottom, and you had divergence on the daily, right? So when you get good enough at it, you can even go into this and start looking for a 2-hour divergence. So if I wanted to, this is pretty much my buy point right here. 366.36 was when SPY said, I'm going to be a good investment for a long period of time. This is like the perfect buy for an investor, in my opinion, because you had momentum tell you the confirmation up, you had the momentum dying out, and you have a weekly divergence underneath it. That's awesome. Then when that weekly confirms, you can feel confident with it and say, hey, all these little pullbacks don't mean shit as long as that monthly crosses up. Never again. That's it. But what I do is I'll go even deeper, especially when volatility is high. Volatility was very high here. I'll go into a 2-hour. Let's see if we can bring it back all the way to that point. I'll go into a 2-hour here, and I'll say, hey, if I see a 2-hour divergence, maybe I'll take a play. So I go even deeper. I see this extended 2-hour divergence, right? You notice the 2-hour rejection divergence, we get a pop. That fails, goes back below the center line. Fails, comes down. What do you see? Boom, and a rejection. Awesome. This point right here said go, but if you really had some balls, you'd say that's divergence right there. That's divergence right there. Now, I did it, I believe, on the daily. I did it when the daily confirmed, right? Because things were very speculative here. But this is where they were saying there's going to be an absolute collapse. So if you're watching financial media still, maybe wait till I make enough money to turn this into a full financial media company. That would be sick. But right here was when it said it. It happens to be the same as the daily pretty much, but 365.35. That's the 2-hour. But so you'll notice I look for all the signals really, really close. And I'll go really in depth if I want to. Investing wise, I don't have to go too deep, right? I can go all the way to a 2-hour. If I wanted to, I could go into a 30-minute. I'm probably going to see a 30-minute right here. Let's do it. Let's see if a 30-minute divergence was at the low way, way back here with that bear market. Is that the bear market? Was this 2023? Oh shit, we got a long way to go. October. Yep, okay. Okay. So what do you notice at the low here? A bunch of little rejections. Those end up failing. So you might say, oh crap. And then it turns back up. So the absolute perfect buy was about 360.24. That is a 30-minute with a 2-hour, with a daily, with a weekly, all at the same time. Now the weekly confirmed later, the daily confirmed later, obviously, but this 30-minute divergence was the start. And then you got this pull down into negative territory and you popped up again. And so that might have scared you for a sec. But you just noticed there was all weakness and momentum at the low. That's all I'm trying to get across. If you really get a hang of these things, and I understand the market's moving all the time. I understand that it's difficult to do in real time. It's way more difficult to do in real time. That's why I go live, right? I want to show like, hey, this is how things move live. This is what you can be aware of. So when would you want to look for that? Well, you want to look for all that at the same time when the monthly is at a low, right? I want to look for all of that when the monthly is at a low. And then it curls up into positive territory. Now notice the difference if you have the skill. Notice the difference. Your confirmation was here, 459. What did we just display? Was it 350, 365? We'll say 365. So just knowing that knowledge, it doesn't mean this is a bad trade right here, right? And then you get a pullback and then you get back in, right? But you missed out on 21% technically. Now, did you necessarily miss out on 21%? Well, the market gave you a pullback, so you might not have missed out on that full 21%, but I'm just displaying that here. So do I want to be looking for that right now? No. Or do I want to be looking for patience, 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 and then see that get down here and go like that, just like the last time? That'd be fantastic. Oil's trying to do something but can't. Yeah, I'm gonna look at my oil trade, and then I really do have to hop off, or else I can't make a YouTube video. So, oil trying to curl up on the monthly scale here, right? We've already looked at this on the daily scale. It's crossed up, and now it's just trying to go positive. You're seeing kind of a consolidative day, sneaky move down to go retest some areas here. Very sneaky, by the way. If you look at the 30-minute, very sneaky. It bought back up in an hour. So that didn't scare me out at all. But this is what I'm taking. Why am I taking it, right? This is what I'm taking a very longer out option for, because the daily is like this. And when the weekly starts to look pretty good, hey, that looks like the weekly could curl up. Okay, awesome. I understand it's in negative territory, so am I planning to hold this for it to go like blah, 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 blah? No. I'm holding for it to probably test something like this, 75.37. I'm looking for it to test something like this, $80. That's it. Oh, SQ. No, I'll look at it for you, Jeremiah. Sorry about that. No, I'll look at it for you. SQ, once again, look for the daily pullback opportunity probably here. Right, so daily is giving you divergence, so be aware that that can be a weaker, a bigger drop. If the weekly crosses, be a little bit on edge, but note that that weekly is very positive. The weekly is very positive still. So you could go through a lot of bad things, but eventually that could curl up, and eventually that could go back into positive territory if it's still close to the center line. That's one. The two would be daily divergence here. This is still far away from the center line, right? So anytime that this actually wants to curl up, I can just be patient and wait for the swing trade. Levels that I would pay attention to for potential just bounces right here, head and shoulders could pop up. Let's see, breakout area is here, 77.65. So that would be a potentially good level, in my opinion, for this to pull back to. Now, a lot can happen in the shorter time frames, but that's closing at the low of the day, so we're talking about the bigger opportunity. A lot can happen in the shorter time frames, right? The 2 hours still by the center line, you see ugly 2-hour divergences, but overall, these are tests of a breakout area on the shorter time frames. I'm just talking about the probably better opportunity, in my opinion. Yeah, it's a little stretched out. And if the fundamentals are good, then you like pullbacks, right, Jeremiah? I've been front running divergence and it falls more. Thanks again, learning so much. Wait for confirmations, Debesh. What you're probably going through in your mind is, I want to catch the low. This is going to be the low. This is going to be the low. This is the low. I know this is going to confirm. Do you? When do you know that a confirmation is something is going to confirm? It's impossible. It's literally impossible. It's literally impossible to know something is going to confirm. You're trading stocks. There's tons of money flying around at all times. You only know the confirmation is there. The divergence is technically only there when it confirms on your charts, right? If anything, just do this real quick and just say, thank you. Thank you for having a MACD. Thank goodness that someone out there created this for us to pay attention to. Smaller cut, there's actually a link down in the description for PayPal, Jeremiah. So yeah, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And let me know if you guys ever do donate on, oh, so did I say Patreon? PayPal. There's a PayPal link in the description that says, hey, if you would like to support the channel so we can continue to make videos like this, click this link. And it'll take you to PayPal. I'm using PayPal because I've trusted it for a long time. QQQ breaking down in after hours. So that's why I went live today, just in case some bad stuff started to happen. But yeah, the way that you get around that mentality is stop thinking I want to get the low. Calling an exact bottom, an exact top is one of the most difficult things that anyone can do. And the only people who can do that have insider information. The only people that can do that have probably billions of dollars because their order will cause the stock to move. So unless you have billions of dollars that you're willing to put into a stock at a certain moment, then you cannot technically catch a bottom. And even then, they could route your order if you're not using a direct-to-exchange platform for your trading, right? So I'm just saying more good behavior would be wait for confirmations, manage your risk, then wait for confirmation again. This is actually a good example of management of risk. We confirmed a divergence. You take a short position, you say, okay, I need to manage risk. If this curls up on a 30-minute and it's anywhere near positive, then I need to make a decision. Well, this gapped up and you say, uh-oh, that took back the 5. I'm making a decision. I'm out of the play for now. Maybe this is a trap. Awesome, this could be a head and shoulders to head higher. So I don't want to be caught up in that if this thing's going to end up going like this and lose all my money. I'll take a 20% loss. I'll see this bounce up. I'll see it reconfirm and I'll be back in the move. And congratulations, now the 2 hours heading in the downward direction. Now it has a very high probability with that trap of going into negative territory. And you have a daily divergence that confirmed even better. Really, the confirmation of daily divergence was today, by the way, for block. There's your confirmation, right? This is right on the 9. you can take it. I get it. 2 hour curled up though, so that might cause you to manage for a second and then you get right back in. So yeah, and just be careful. There will be bounces in the market, but we'll give you guys those levels later. Okay, guys, so I really do have to hop off now. I appreciate you guys joining me for my ending of the day stream, my little power hour stream. Born to Win, everyone, thank you guys so much for being here. Lizard, Max Effort, Sid. Shoot, just thank you to all you guys. And thank you, Mr. Win, for being here. We. Really appreciate it. I got to get off of this fast. And I hate leaving you guys, but I have to get off of this fast because I got to go help out with some stuff. Then I can jump back on to make my YouTube video. Then I have to help out with baby girl. Then I have to go to the gym right after that. So I got a crazy night ahead of me. Dear God, I hope Love Island Australia is actually posted tonight because I need a stress reliever. I've had a day. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for listening to my rants and hopefully taking something away from this video, right? Every single video, I just hope at least one person is able to take something away from it. And really think to yourself right now, if you're one of those people that was genuinely listening to this stream, why can't that person be you? You know what I mean? Why can't that be you? So thank you so much for joining. I'll talk to you guys later on YouTube, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. So look out, Patreon members, for the daily expected moves for all the stocks that we cover on this channel. Peace out. Gotta end the stream right away. So sorry if I'm just ending it. Peace out.